poor is $6 short on the utility bill and no way to close the gap. Being poor is crying when you drop the mac and cheese on the floor. Being poor is knowing that you work as hard as anyone, anywhere. Being poor is people surprised to discover that you're not actually stupid. Being poor is a 6-hour wait in an emergency room with a sick child on your lap. Being poor is seeing how hard it is to stop being poor. Being poor is knowing where the shelter is. Being poor is running in place. Being poor is people wondering why you didn't leave. I heard somewhere one time that if you wanted to succeed as bad as you wanted to breathe, then you would be successful. That never has sat well with me. I'm a single parent with a master's degree, earning under $20,000 a year, and I'm underemployed. Currently, the poverty rate among women rose from 13.9% in 2009 to 16.2% in 2010. This is the highest percentage in 17 years. So this leaves me with the question, what if we do want success as bad as we want to breathe? What do? I've considered what I was going to talk about for many days and for many nights for that matter, and I've come to the conclusion that nobody likes to talk about poverty or privilege, and researching it is quite discouraging. I'm not here to be mimicked, mocked, or to provide false hope, but I am here to let you know that there may be no hope unless we have tremendous courage to look at the real face of poverty. I'm sure that you've all heard of the American dream, but have you ever considered that perhaps the reason it is called the American dream is because you have to be asleep in order to believe it? I'm not the homeless woman down on the corner of O Street begging for change. I am anybody living anywhere in the USA. Let's take a look at the new face that poverty has in 21st century America. The poor are no longer just the permanently unemployable, the recently incarcerated, or the mentally ill. It is me. I am the portrait of poverty. It's time to stop playing pretend. You know, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and pretend is real cute when you're 6 playing T, but we're not. It's time to stop being uneducated about what poverty is and understand what it is not. Poverty is more than being hungry. Today, with the incomes of the richest 1% of Americans, those earning $380,000 or more, those incomes have increased by 33% over the past 30 years, while the income growth for the other 90% of Americans, including the middle class, has been at a virtual standstill. Today, the top 1% earns an average of $1.3 million a year, while the other average American earns just $30,000 per year. I wish I made that much money per year, because maybe, just maybe, I would have enough gas to get to my $20,000 a year job. Now, some may say, no way, or how so, but we all know that poverty isn't anything new. Dating back to 1900 to 1920, public opinion about the poor began to shift. Thanks also to late-night television showing small children in third world countries with bloated bellies standing in dirty water. People of America has adopted this as their vision of poverty. Now, don't get me wrong. There is no downplaying this vision of poverty in the world. But looking at poverty in the Lincoln community means something else. According to Webster's dictionary, poverty is a lack of something. It doesn't say a lack of food stamps or a lack of intelligence. It just clearly states something. In order to understand poverty, you need to understand what it is. Chances are is that it's not going to look like bloated bellies. It's going to be the things that are invisible to people. Poverty will have no smell and no vision. What is your lack of? In Webster's dictionary, it also tells us that poverty is the state of one who lacks a certain amount of material possessions. That's interesting, because I'm here to tell you and let everyone know that no matter how bad you think that financial gain will shift the lenses, there will always be some poverty in your privilege of wealth. I know because I've witnessed it. Who's heard the saying, we want what we can't have? Or the grass is greener on the other side. But is it? It's really not. It's greener where you water it and nurture it. It's not about making money. It is about seeing the privilege in poverty situations. Using a value system can get you a lot of places. I once heard, if you can't be happy with a little, then you won't be happy with a lot. Or, to whom much is given, much is required. All of those tidbits of advice are great, but let's narrow it down to more of a laser beam focus. There's mental poverty and there's poverty in beauty. What is your poverty in? Mental poverty has two faces. There's a generational myth that tells those that they're destined to repeat the past. Then there's the internal battle of believing the lie. Last, poverty and beauty. Don't allow yourself to get so caught up in the poverty of things that you forget to stop to smell the roses. Literally, I do this all the time at Hy-Vee. We learn again from Webster's dictionary that privilege is the advantage that wealthy and powerful people have over other people in a society. Or maybe we should believe the second definition that Webster tells us, that privilege is really a special opportunity to do something that makes you proud. I did have a short experience with privilege, and that experience left me no longer wanting personal wealth, but instead I was looking for a sense of belonging, a voice that no dollar amount could buy, a sustainable lifestyle. How privileged are we as a nation when veterans are more likely than non-vets to be homeless? The numbers of the new poor and near poor are now white citizens who are now coming alongside citizens of color. When are we going to create a sense of urgency here to eradicate what your poverty may be? Let's look at privilege. Knowing that we don't have to accept poverty-stricken situations. We should be allowed to dream. Like Martin Luther King, he had a dream. What is your dream? How can we partner together to see outside the box and see a change in this generation? I'm convinced that there is no hope unless we have tremendous courage to look at the real face of poverty. We need to rethink, reimagine, and redefine how we confront poverty, or else it will never be eradicated. We need to honestly tackle the greed and analyze the political, economic, and societal black holes that allow it to flourish, because if we don't, intractable poverty will remain Americans' capitalism and the global economy's permanent partner. Here are some guiding principles that have helped me through the storm. I encourage you all to incorporate yours in your poverty or privilege situation. My guiding principles have allowed for the veil to be lifted. The conviction that follows me is not of my own strength, but of a higher calling. It is my guiding principles that allows me to comprehend a peace that truly surpasses all understanding. My core 4 principles that guide my life and every decision that I make are faith. I'm sure of what I hope for, and I'm certain of what I cannot see. Freedom. I value freedom because in my life, it has not come free. Walking in freedom allows one to be released from one's own mental prison. Truth. The truth will always set you free because it's steadfast and true. Peace. Being at peace with oneself and the relationships of the world is the key to having eternal satisfaction in one's soul. And although, regardless of what I choose in my own personal life, I too believe that I will continue to encounter poverty and privilege and poverty. And although I still am a work in progress, my present conviction is that it is what you do with the poverty-stricken situation that matters. Thank you.